Welcome to my world. Another day, another time, another period for knowledge acquisition. Knowledge is power, health is wealth. Today, I shall be addressing why malaria is undefeated. The question in the video that you shall watch now is very germane, and that's what I am trying to answer in this video. Just like I had promised that my next video, which is this, would address issues raised by concerned subscribers, viewers, and anybody of interest. So you're welcome.
Names are Anthony Adokitodo. I'm a superintendent of police, SP. Now, the issue now is a health challenge. Day in, day out, people complain about malaria and typhoid, and most of these things that there are some of them that are treated without going for tests. And in terms of those people that are wise enough, when they go for tests, the test will actually show what is there, what is actually disturbing the patient. But and sometimes you see that they will not even see typhoid there, and they will not see malaria. Even if they see it, they will say this one is more, this one is high, according to those in the lab tech. According to those people, lab technicians,
Lab scientists.
Lab scientists. So I'm not a medical officer. My own discipline is general. Is another thing entirely. So, but from my own observation, that's why I'm asking that. But at the end of the day, the patient may say, doctor, let us go for this also thing. And when the test is being conducted, this thing is there. So, but mainly in Nigeria, they are talking about typhoid fever. Why is this so?
The undying question is, why has malaria remained undefeated in developing countries? Whereas malaria was worldwide before. It was even named by from Italy language, which means bad hair, malaria, bad hair, because they discover it's from swamp, and the infection probably comes from that area. That's so early in life. Even Hippocrates even mentioned it. But after so many years, these developed countries have overcome it. America overcome it with a style by seriously putting effort, putting their money where their mouth is, and with compensation for those who can confirm the malaria as present in the blood using slide confirmation. They were able to eradicate it in Mississippi. So it is not impossible for malaria to be eradicated in developing countries if there is that political will. Yes, it is the same scenario of having swampy areas. Nowadays, majority of developed countries, you have what somebody called concrete jungle. It is seriously tarred, and probably that will not allow for water to gather, that will allow the female Anopheles mosquitoes to breed. It is the female Anopheles mosquito that really cause this problem. So by so listing, we must talk of how we reduce swamp water stagnation, but where is it going, the fund going to come from? So the number one reason why these developing countries remain no defeating of malaria area is because there is no political will to put enough money into health matters. So that's number one reason. Number two reasons could also come from the ignorance of the people. You want to really address the issue of ignorance in terms of nomenclature. The most superior person as far as laboratory discovery, laboratory setup is concerned, is the medical laboratory scientist who heads the lab and is responsible for whatever result comes out. But if we concentrate on laboratory technician and we don't ask for laboratory scientists, then obviously there is that area of problem that even the diagnosis may come out as false negative or false positive result. So the equipment used in developed countries are really advanced. Then there is that problem too, that before you take Jack Robinson, rather than the recommendation of WHO holding sway, where it is recommended that before any treatment, malaria parasite test should be done and confirm that it is present. So if you just take the drug because you have fever and then you go to the lab for laboratory slide test, the rapid test, diagnostic test that is using RTD kits could be helpful in the sense that it's serological and it will not really be affected by the drugs probably that you have taken, because once you have established a titer, that is your body has recognized the malaria has been present, then there is developed antibodies against the malaria, which the kits, the rapid test kits, would easily decide. But where the kits are not sensitive enough or they are not specific, these are terms that we use to know which one would give us the accurate result. If a kit is very sensitive, it will discover minutest number of malaria parasites present in the serum, the blood that was collected. But if it is very sensitive and not specific, it will even call artifacts, things that are not malaria parasites. It will call them malaria parasites. So you find out that you are saying somebody is positive for malaria, whereas it's negative. So the complete treatment, the eradication of malaria, becomes an impossibility because the diagnosis is wrong ab initio. There is also that diagnosis where you are taking drug that the parasite will not be in the blood. So doing a blood film trying to confirm the malaria parasite presence when the drug has affected its presence, it's like chasing after something that is not there at all. You will search and search and you will not find the malaria parasite. So it becomes very difficult to even grade it accurately according to the WHO templates. I shall now talk more as we go into the slide session so that I can handle it holistically, not something that I will be quoted tomorrow that I said something that they couldn't verify. Or everything I am passing on here are verified, tested things, confirmed that the laboratory has experienced, and we can now say that these are the reasons. So many reasons are responsible for it, but the ones I've just mentioned are part of it. So let's go on into the slide section and listen to more. The objective: to expose why malaria remains undefeated in developing countries, whereas the developed countries have eradicated it. The introduction: malaria was a worldwide social economic pest before, and it was most felt during wars when many combatants were down with it. You can imagine going to war and a large proportion of the people that will fight the war are down with fever. So it was really a serious scourge that had to be overcome. However, with the advent of microscopy, malaria was demystified as Plasmodium species causing the fever were identified on slide. By 1950, malaria had virtually ceased to exist in the United States. The secret of the successful eradication of malaria was not vaccination, not at all. It was near impossible at that time. Even right now, you still have challenges of sporozoid speciation because they keep changing species and even strains, because nobody develop, and also nobody develop immunity after natural infection. For example, in Mississippi, when the slide microscope became very popular, a once highly malarious endemic area, the State Board of Health has since 1940 offered to pay $10 to any physician who can submit to the state hygienic laboratory a positive smear that taken from an endemic case. When this policy was first announced, a few cases were reported each year. That is, they were able to say every year there were people with malaria. But since 1950, no positive slide has been submitted, and the disease was considered eradicated throughout America. Call it the strategic plan of the orthodox way or the traditional way that we are used to. It is either you attack the malaria at the level of the malaria carrying vector, that is female Anopheles mosquito, which develops and lays egg in swampy areas as pictured on the left. So you get so many of them there growing, and then when the female want to lay its egg, it will collect blood. So if the female or these mosquitoes larvae and pupae are destroyed at that level by fumigation or whatever poison is used to destroy them, you prevent the Anopheles mosquito from biting anybody and carrying the infection. The life cycle of the Anopheles mosquito could also be terminated at a stage just like above, and you can also use mosquito nets, mosquito treated nets, to prevent the infection. Then you can also think of what do you call the malaria preventive drugs to attack when the patient has developed the fever. These are the parasites on the right, malaria parasites. Oh yes, let's call the era that we are in vaccine era, because right now almost anything could be attacked with vaccines. But the challenges to overcome with malaria, there are so many because it has different stages. It has the asexual stage in human and then the sexual stage in Anopheles mosquito. But the 5 kinds of the parasite are Plasmodium falciparum, P. vivax, P. malariae, P. ovale, and P. knowlensis. Vaccines could be directed at blocking it at the source against the sporozoites, or sterilizing the female Anopheles mosquito, and it is termed transmission blocking vaccine. If it is at the exoerythrocytic phase, blocking the resurgence, it is called malaria preventive vaccine. And the red phase vaccine, that is the erythrocytic, when it's inside the red blood cells, mainly reduce clinical morbidity and mortality. So it is called malaria therapeutic vaccines. Finally, let us address the problems, especially those problems associated with vaccine production. We have right now vaccine against malaria. That is, people are being really inoculated with it. They are receiving it. But the problem associated with production of vaccine is that bacteria and viruses usually only need a single receptor ligand to successfully invade host cells. That means that they don't have to produce vaccines of different types. That is, although there is that changing, the strain change, they mutate, but it is not like the one with parasite that has so many receptors, and it also changes as well. So these are serious considerations in vaccine production that makes it impossible. However, Plasmodium invasion of host cells, including sporozoites invading liver cells and merozoites invading erythrocytes, is a multi-step, sequential, and tightly regulated process. It goes through 4 steps, unlike the bacteria and viruses that is just probably one step. So these 4 steps are initial adhesion, localization and tight adhesion, tight junction formation, and invasion of the red blood cells itself. Each step is mediated by different paired molecules, and the localization and tight adhesion stages can be mediated by multiple paired molecules. So this is what they had to overcome to get this vaccine that people are now receiving. And right now, we have the conspiracy theory that the molecules that they are being primed to depopulate the populace. So it's another issue.